All right, math lab. I'm going to go through, we started the section on inequalities, and that's what the next quiz is going to be on. Right now I'm just going to go through the worksheet that was handed out today and do each individual problem so you can check your work. The idea is that you would try the problems yourself, and then if you get hung up, you want to look at this video. You don't just want to watch it and fill things out. That won't do as much good. So just go to the problem that is giving you trouble, and we'll go from there. So let's start with number 1. Okay, so v plus 19 is greater than or equal to 1. So we can basically we treat it just like an equality, except that special case where we're going to multiply a variable by -1, right? So in this case, we can treat this just like an equality. So we had a perfectly good v, and then someone ruined it by adding 19. We'll make up for that by subtracting 19, and we'll do that to both sides of the inequality, just like an equation. So we're going to get this to cancel. So we're going to get a v on this side, greater than or equal to, and 1 minus 19 is going to be -18. All right, number 2. We have x minus 2 is less than 9. Same case, we can pretend it's an equality, because it's an equation, because we're not going to end up multiplying x or your variable by -1. So treat it just like an equation. So we had an x, we subtracted 2, we undo that by adding 2. We do the same thing to both sides. So we get that to cancel. We get x is less than, not 9, we're going to add 2 to both sides. 9 plus 2 is 11. Number 3, we have n over 13 is less than -13. So essentially, we're going to be doing the same thing. We don't have a negative n, so we're just going to have, we can treat this just like an equation. So we had an n, we divide it by 13. We'll multiply both sides by 13. And so let's see, times 13. So those will cancel. We'll take this side times 13. So -13 times 13 is going to be -169. And then we have the n left on the other side. So n is less than 169. Okay, number 4. We have 90 is less than -5k. So this is going to be a situation where we've got a -1 times the k. You can think of this as 90 is less than -1 times k times 5. So let's deal with this 5 first. We're going to take 90 divided by 5. Or in other words, we're going to divide both sides of the equation by 5 to cancel this. And then we'll take this divided by 5. And 90 divided by 5 ends up being 18. So 18 is less than or equal to -1 times k. Now we're going to divide both sides of the equation by -1. And when we do that, when we go from a negative to a positive on our variable value, we have to flip the sign. Okay, so we have a -k equals 18. If we're going to multiply both sides by -1, or divide both sides by -1 for that matter, we have to switch the sign, and then it becomes normal. So we multiply by -1, we switch the signs, we get k is less than -18. Number 5. We have a divided by 7 is greater than or equal to, that's not a 9, that's an a, is greater than or equal to -7. We had a perfectly good a, we divided it by 7. We're not multiplying, we're dividing by -1, so this is fair game. So we multiply both sides by 7. These cancel, we get an a on this side is greater than or equal to negative 49. Now don't let the fact that we have a negative 7 over here fool you. If we end up having to multiply both sides by negative 1, that's when you need to worry about flipping the sign. Otherwise you can treat it just like an equality. Okay. Number 6. We have 15p is greater than or equal to 150. So pretty straightforward, right? We had a perfectly good p. Someone ruined it by multiplying it by 15. We can undo that by dividing both sides by 15. We're not multiplying or dividing by negative 1, so the sign stays the same. These cancel. We get a p on this side, greater than or equal to, and then 150 divided by 15 is 10. So we get p is greater than or equal to 10. Number 7, we have m plus 1 plus 6 is greater than 1. So pretty straightforward. We have a positive m. We're just going to move all this nonsense to the other side. So we'll subtract 6 from both sides. We'll subtract 1 from both sides. So 1 minus 6 minus 1. These cancel. We get m is greater than 1 minus 6 is negative 5. Negative 5 minus 1 is negative 6. Number 8. We have 13 is less than 4p plus 1 minus 4. All right, first thing we need to do is get all this to the other side. So we'll reverse this process by adding 4 to both sides. We'll reverse this by subtracting 1 from both sides. So we can add 4. 13 plus 4 is 17. 17 minus 1 is 16. So we have 16 is less than 4p. Now we're not multiplying both sides by negative 1 or by a negative number, so the sign stays the same. The only thing we have left to do is to isolate this p is to divide both sides by 4 to get rid of this. So divided by 4, these cancel. Divided by 4, we get 4 is less than p, or p is greater than 4. Same idea. Okay, number 9. Okay, we have negative 6 times negative 4 minus 5v is less than or equal to 204. So the first thing I'm going to do is distribute this 6 so we can get that v, make everything stripped away from that v. Right? So negative 6 times negative 4 is going to be a positive 24, because we have an even number of negative terms that we're multiplying together to get a positive. And then negative 6 times negative 5v is going to be a positive 30v is less than or equal to 204. Now we can subtract 24 from both sides. Okay, this is going to cancel, and then we have 204 minus 24, which is 180. So we have 30v is less than or equal to 180. And then 180, we'll just divide both sides by 30. So we get v is less than or equal to 6. Okay, number 10. Let's see, we have negative 5 times 1 plus 2b is less than or equal to negative 85. It's a lousy looking 5, sorry. So let's distribute this negative 5 to both these terms here. So we have negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Negative 5 times 2b is going to be negative 10b is less than or equal to negative 85. can add 5 to both sides. This is going to cancel. So we get negative 10b on this side is less than or equal to, now negative 85 plus 5 is going to be a negative 80. We're in 85 in the negative direction. We're going to move 5 in the positive to land at 80 in the negative direction. So negative 80. Now here's where we have to be careful. We are going to now divide both sides by a negative number, which is going to cause this sign to flip. That's the one case where an inequality is not the same as an equality. All right, so we're going to divide both sides by negative 10. Okay, it's going to cause this to cancel. We're going to get a b. Flip the sign. And then 80 divided by negative 10 is going to be a positive 8. So b is greater than or equal to positive 8. You need to flip the sign. Number 11. We have 48 is greater than negative 8k. All right, really all we have to do is divide both sides by negative 8. But remember, if we're dealing with an inequality and we divide by or multiply by a negative number on both sides, we have to flip the inequality. So let's divide both sides by negative 8. That's going to cancel. So we have a k on this side. The inequality flips. And we have 48 divided by negative 8, which is going to give you a negative 6. So we have negative 6 is less than k. Or another way of saying that is k is greater than negative 6. Both of these are acceptable. And finally, number 12. Well, this one's pretty easy, right? We have 91 is greater than or equal to 13a. So we're not dealing with any negative numbers, so we can not have to worry about flipping the signs. So we just need to divide 91 by 13. Whoops. Divided by 13. So we divide this side by 13. It's going to cancel. We divide this side by 13. It's going to give us 7. So it's 7 is greater than or equal to a, or a is less than or equal to 7. Both sides are okay. Either way we can work. All right, and that's it. Hopefully that worked out well for you, and I'll see you on Wednesday.